Hello, hello. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone can actually hear me and the world will be moving on. I'll wait for Chris or Bucho to give me confirmation on that one before I continue.
I believe we're good.
Merry Midwinter! I think we're good.
You're good.
Golden.
Listen, with a Symphony stream, you never know. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency to bring a symphonic approach to horror role playing. I am your host, Bridgett Jeffries, and tonight I will also be serving as your keeper of arcane lore for a single episode of Regency Cthulhu. The title of this game that I just finished writing last night is Uninvited, and it has been inspired directly by Symphony Patreon backers. We actually use polls in our backer portal, and they chose the season, they chose the ball theme, and they even chose the mythos entity for tonight's game. Regency Cthulhu was recently published by Chaosium, and it focuses on the dark designs in Jane Austen's England. This episode is meant to be a sampler. What the hell does that mean? Well, we're going to do an actual play. This story will have a beginning, a climax, and an end. But what I'm going to do is forward face the rules a little bit more than usual, and then drop some, random historical perspective regarding the era as well. So basically, this stream is supposed to be adding some additional perspective and support for both the era and the mechanics. Sorry, I had to toggle between screens and I lost my copy. So, with that being said, this by no means makes me an expert on either the Call of Cthulhu rules, the mechanics in Regency Cthulhu, or the era, but it is me demonstrating a good faith effort to try. And, let's be super real, that's most humans can do anyways. So, 3 very quick announcements. 1, thank you for your patience as we navigated the holidays, a convention, real life, a vacation. Our January and February stream calendars look amazing with more horror games, coaching support, more sonatas, hangouts, and interviews. As mentioned before, Symphony does have a Patreon. So if you like this content and you would like to help us create more of it, please consider backing us on Patreon. You can check that out at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. And speaking of backers, so I started this thing this year with Symphony backers where I would bring them goodies or treats back to any of the conventions where I was either making a guest appearance or I was just there kind of hanging out. When I went to PAX Australia, I was able to mail, even internationally, every single backer who requested one, these really cool limited edition penny arcade Cthulhu pins. And they were super dope. Backers loved them. And I was at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia here, and I was able to get a copy of Pirate Borg in print, which I know, be jealous, because if you back the Kickstarter like me, you haven't received your physical copy yet, but according to the Kickstarter, it is coming. It is coming. Luke Stratton was able to get a limited print run for PAX Unplugged, so I did buy one. But I also was able to get Luke to sign this particular copy of Pirate Borg. So not only are you going to get a physical copy before everybody else, you're going to get one signed by Luke Stratton himself. So I have 4 backers request interest in this: Andy K, Allison R, Chris B, and Darren C. Bucho, who is just literally the longest running major support babysitter mollycoddler of Symphony. Would you please do me the honors of rolling a D4 and tell us who just won this signed copy of Pirate Borg?
Looks like it's going to be backer number 3.
Backer number 3 is Chris! Chris! No, you're not going to pay shipping. I'm going to send this all the way across the Atlantic for you because you're worth it. Congratulations. This is going to be in the mail to you as soon as I'm not afraid to go to the post office.
Nice.
Y'all know how Christmas is. Come on now. So thank you again to all my backers. Congratulations to Chris for winning this prize. So, without further ado, let's unveil this cast. We are going to start with Bucho. Cast members, please introduce yourselves. Tell us where people can find you, who you are, some of the things that you do. And once you do all of your hyping yourself plug, the only thing I need is your name, or your investigator's name and your investigator's occupation.
My name is Bucho. I frequently find myself on the streams here at Symphony Entertainment. Normally, I'm kind of a social media whore, but I'm taking a break from all things social media at the moment. Otherwise, you could catch me on Instagram at The Real Pink Manther, where I post up pictures of my writing, my art, and general nonsense from my weekends here in Kansas City. Tonight, I am playing a Mr. Samuel Creighton, and I am an apothecary.
I cannot wait for these leading questions, guys. You have no idea. Kicking over next, Chris, tell us who you are, where people can find you, what you do, and then the name and occupation of your investigator.
My name is Chris. I live at an undisclosed location in the San Francisco Bay Area, where I engage in lightsaber choreography and I'm sorry, LED choreography. I do not want to LED saber choreography because I do not want to step on any copyrighted toes. And I write and edit mostly within the queer and kinky media spaces. And occasionally bestow my presence here upon Bridgett.
Which we are most grateful for. Oh my God,
yes.
Chris.
You can find me at Zopher Hall on Twitter. That's XOPHER. And you can find me under the same name on Mastodon, which is much more fun than Twitter these days.
Perfect. And the name and occupation of your investigator?
I am the Reverend Matthew Gower. I will be injecting a note of sobriety into the proceedings. It is my duty to uphold the will of the Lord and the Crown, not necessarily in that order. After all, our monarch is the head of the Church of England. So I will be attending the proceedings as myself.
Okay. Wait. Don't say anything else. Wait. No, I got to pull the plug on you because I'm going to do lead-in questions that might wind up spinning you around. So I'm going to hold you off there. For the record, and I can tell this story in the Symphony Discord, Chris did way more historical research than I did, and the amount of times I got checked on content for his character was absolutely fabulous. I love people who buy in and care. It's one of the sexiest things in the whole world.
I did not step foot in that conversation for a number of reasons. It's like, nope.
It was so good. Nope. I'll tell you guys a story on Discord because Chris was like, nope. Nope. It was beautiful. Evan, welcome to Symphony Streams. First and foremost, babe, it's your first time on. Tell us who you are, where people can find you, what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Evan Perlman. This is my first time on this or any stream, possibly my last time, depending on how it goes. I am 106 years old, so my best social media is Facebook. Swear to God, there's like 3 other Evan Perlmans, but you'll pick up which one is me pretty quickly. I am in a couple of Discords, but I find it hard to manage. But you can find me on the Symphony Discord. You can find me on the Mupp Discord, a couple other ones. I have a lot of forthcoming stuff from Chaosium. So sometime in the next decade, you'll see like a book and 3 other scenarios come out for me. And what I'm really proud of is I have a bunch of group projects. Most recently, we've done a project called Hometown Horrors, of which Bridgett participated, Bucho participated, a million other people participated, all wonderful stuff, writing about what makes their hometowns weird. And then I have an upcoming project that is for Regency Cthulhu. It's called In Strange Seas. It's the Royal Navy versus the Mythos. So if you want to see what happens when Russell Crowe as Jack Aubrey goes up against some kind of tentacled fiend, that's where to go. Keep an eye out for that. It's coming soon. And then a bunch of other projects. I do some developmental editing and work. I love to just collaborate with people. That's what I'm here for. It's a hobby. It's joy. And that's why I'm here. And tonight I'll be playing Sir Roger Gallows, a barrister from London.
I gotta say, a lot of the synopses for the scenarios of the Regency thing you're putting together sound amazing.
Oh, it's going to be phenomenal.
Like, this is not my era, and I was like, I'm gonna need to play some of those.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I think I'm going to record some. I wouldn't be surprised if I show up here to record some, possibly with the Miskatonic Playhouse as well. I may be reaching out to a seafaring band to see if we can get some of their music for the streams or the recordings. So yeah, this is like, it's a very niche thing, but the people who are into it are going to be all in.
Oh, they're so into it. It's like, holy crap.
Those who are dialed in will dial in, honey. That's quintessentially us. Perfect. Thank you, cast. For those watching the replay or watching live, I have reviewed content warnings with the cast and crew. They understand that the X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message in Zoom. There's no judgment passed, and then there are no questions asked. All right, you guys know my consistent fail on runtime, so let's sprint through this and see if I can actually finish on time.
I promise to lean way the fuck in to help you reach the end time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Gonna make all the bad decisions at once. We're just gonna smash that big red button. Let's go.
It'll be fine.
It is spring 1818. King George has just buried his only legitimate child, Princess Charlotte, who died in childbirth just a few handful of months ago. His Majesty has always been eccentric. However, lately there's something else happening. Something simmering beneath the surface. It hangs on the air like dancing death. He's broken somehow with a smile. Perhaps it's his lifestyle. It has been described as both excessive and eccentric. Maybe it's the trauma and the loss that accompanied the global catastrophe known as a year without summer, or it's more than likely his growing laudanum addiction. The best you can do at this point is just pray that he too isn't going mad. The past few months, he's been sending small pockets of crews out to investigate various items, peoples, and events. You weren't surprised when you got called to the task. You'll do what the rest of the crews have done. You'll get in, you'll get out, you'll report your findings, you'll give His Majesty satisfaction, and you'll try to wait out this incoming political shitstorm that you can just sense manifesting. Before I tell you of your task, let's flesh out these investigators, shall we? If you don't know me, something that I've been very intentional about doing the past few years is no longer allowing the round table investigator thing where we just go from player to player and you describe who your investigator is, what they like, what they don't like, their occupation, and blah, blah, blah. I try to do more immersive ways of introducing characters, so I'm going to lean on one of those methods right now, and I am going to start with Mr. Samuel Crichton. Hard stop. Here's your first FYI with Regency Cthulhu. The rules of gentry society are exceptionally formal by today's standards. So for start, you never refer to anybody in public by their first name. Even close friends call each other Mr., Miss, Sir, surname. So while this might feel distant and stuffy, it is intended to show respect and acknowledges and reinforces a person's social status. Players, if you mess this up in character, and I remember, I will ding your reputation score accordingly. You have been warned. Everyone is referred to as Miss, Mr., or Miss, Mr., or Sir. Samuel, you were on the ground in the trenches fighting disease outbreaks that resulted from the global catastrophe a year without summer. Crops failed globally. Famine and disease took hold. Thousands suffered, withered, and died. But you chose to be on the ground in the trenches with the people. Tell us, what do you remember most about that time? And how did you keep your sanity intact, surrounded by so much devastation?
Well, there was no love lost when I left home, as I had no love to come home to at the end of the day. There were I realized that there were people in need who needed my particular brand of help, and so leaving home was easy to do. Moved from city to city, tried to help as many people as I could. The things that got me through the day, faces start to look the same. no matter where you go, whether it's Germany, whether it's France, whether it's Great Britain, whether it's England. But it's always a problem when it's the children that are suffering. And so I'm sure this kind of global event leaves a mark on the soul of a child. It has to. One that only tarnishes deeper and darker with every passing year. But I don't care if anybody judges me for what I did. I didn't see them helping out. I didn't see them with their hands out or opening their doors to these kids. So a lot of my waking time was spent relaxing the minds of these children, hoping to kind of erase the memory of this awful time. And for those children that were on their way to the grave, I utilized my skills to help wipe away the bad feelings so that they were able to die full of good feelings.
Wow.
And so this is how I spent my time.
Wow.
That's how I kept my mind together.
Okay. Wow, that was stunning. Okay. In Regency Cthulhu, your reputation is one of the major determining factors on how you navigate society. I have a handout here, which is just a screenshot from the book. But your reputation score targets you specifically, societally, as a bad sort. Just as an FYI to everyone listening, your reputation score is the average of your etiquette skill, which is a new skill for Regency Cthulhu, and your credit rating score. Role-playing decisions, poor rolls, pushed rolls, fumbles, all of those things can positively or negatively affect your reputation score. So, Sir Samuel Creighton, you are listed as a bad sort. Your reputation score is somewhere between a 1 and a 39. People typically avoid you. You're not invited to most outings. People aren't anxious to do business with you. However, the Lord Privy Seal has a true fondness for you. Why is that?
I know he's heard of how I spent my time. And so it was purely conjecture on my part, but I have to imagine that he understands that I'm a man of will, and that I am not easily swayed into lying.
Okay. So despite your reputation, he has a respect for your integrity.
I think it's my integrity that has caused my reputation, quite frankly. Because I am so hard-nosed about staying very very above board with things. I think that tends to rub some people the wrong way. Like they want me to talk very flowery to them, and
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like I've seen too much, I've done too much. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
if it's not a benefit, then it is a detriment.
Beautiful. And Mr. Samuel Creighton, is there anything else you would like to share with us about your character?
At this point, he's a gaunt man, a very thin man.
Okay.
I would say that he would often forego his own meals to give them to the other people in the town. Like he would not eat so that other people could, especially since food was so scarce.
Oh, yeah.
So his clothing feels a little baggy, maybe, but it's also well worn. Like he hasn't grown into it, but it fits him.
Okay. Beautifully done, Bucho, per usual. Hopping over to the Reverend Matthew Gower. You served as Princess Charlotte's personal spiritual counselor for 12 years leading up into her death. And that child went through hell. Her grandfather, whom she adored and he favored, went mad. Her father, the king, moved her around a chessboard of psychological trauma since she was a child. Neglect, allowances unfit for a child of her station, publicly filing suit against her mother for adultery. That was a terrible year for both of you guys. Manipulation, refusing her access to the mother, refusing to allow her access to the public. When she died, despite everything her father went through, the entire kingdom mourned. They had seen Princess Charlotte as a sign of hope and a contrast to both her unpopular father and her mentally ill grandfather. You were that girl's only true friend, and now she is gone. What have you been doing with yourself at court these past 4 months?
Well, as with the rest of the country, I have been feeling a great hole in my life. Although the girl was wild and needed much more discipline in her life, I was fond of her.
Yeah.
I her father is quite unhappy about her death, and of course with the response from the public, even in death, she is more popular than he is. I I for one wish that the king would just send me away from court and let me give move me from being a vicar to a rector somewhere in a nice profitable parish, where the tithes are good and I can simply relax and do my reading. And perhaps bring a little bit of peace to my soul, having lost this companion, lost this friend.
Speaking of that, peace to your soul. And I'm so sorry you tucked your chin and dove right into this one, Chris. Bravo. Princess Charlotte told you. She told you that she felt something was wrong with that pregnancy. She told you that she was afraid. She told you that she had a bad feeling about it. And she was scared. She was so scared, especially in those last months. She was so scared. And you dismissed her concerns. All new mothers feel that way, right? On their first pregnancies, didn't they? What more could you have done? And did you attend the funeral?
Of course, I attended the funeral. I spoke. I spoke at her funeral. I was one of the first ones to speak up and remember her in words, and to commend her soul to the great beyond. What more could I have done? In hindsight, perhaps I should have listened. And the rumors about the birth, about whether or not the child was actually stillborn, there are conflicting reports about whether the child was dead at birth or whether the doctor took care of it. So I am disturbed by those rumors, the realities, and the conflicts of whether I should have realistically listened more deeply to her complaints.
Beautiful.
Fears.
Way to lean into the heartbreak, Chris. Reverend, is there anything else you would like to tell us about your character?
Just the fact that at 52 and having been in court life for 20 or 30 years, I am feeling kind of exhausted about the whole thing, all of the politicking and everything, and crave the quiet of a country life. with a substantial income, hopefully.
Okay. Well done, sweetie. And last but totally not least, Sir Robert Dallows, our barrister. Sir
Your
Robert,
servant, Mom.
I appreciate it. Much obliged. Sir Robert Dallows, you're a barrister at His Majesty's Court, but you don't have any skill points on law on your sheet because your keeper hilariously dropped the ball on character creation. And you told me not to change it. And Evan, you're one of my favorite people of the week for this one. So please tell both the keeper and everyone, how is it that Sir Dallows is reconciling the fact that he is a royal barrister with no actual grasp on the law?
So he is two things. One, he is infuriatingly optimistic, and two, he is very persuasive.
Oh,
And he has this really irritating manner of expecting that if everyone just comes together and speaks reasonably and in good faith, that everything will sort of all work out. And it never does. And he never changes his belief. Um, and more than once he's watched a despondent man go to the gallows, whom he tried to save, because the judge had said, "Sir, while your arguments were extraordinarily persuasive, and it grieves me extremely that we must make this decision, in point of fact, you made no reference to the law as it stands in His Majesty's kingdom, and we are bound by that law." And of course, the judge was very sorrowful. And of course, the barrister was resolved that the next time should be better.
ooh. Okay. Confidence, but people are still dying. Wow, this is wonderful. Evan, come back soon. Um, Sir Robert Dallows, you have been inseparably close with your younger sister, Claudia, ever since your parents died. She turned 15 this past winter, and she'll be making her debut. She'll be having her coming out ball this very spring. And you promised her that you would be there for the first ball. You swore to her that you would be there, but you can't simply say no to His Majesty. If His Majesty tells you to go, you have to go. But she's 16, she's alone, and she's afraid, and she doesn't understand that. Tell me about this massive fight that you two had just last night.
Well, of course, I was very reasonable, and I was as persuasive as I could be that she would, of course, be fine. That the women at the next estate over were very experienced in this sort of thing, and they would ensure that she came out to perfection. And I'm sure that she would have several proposals almost instantly, possibly by the next day. And as is the way of 16-year-old girls, she was finding it difficult to accept my reasoning.
Yeah.
She was finding it difficult to share my optimism. And in your private ear alone, I will admit that I was wounded by what felt like her rejection of my guidance and reassurance. I have no fear for her, of course. She's a wonderful girl and will make quite a splash on the scene. But that did feel quite wounding to me.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. As we in Regency Cthulhu are not known to gossip, I'm sure that information won't leave us. Is there anything else you would like to share with us about your character?
No, just that. Well, I will say one thing. He has developed quite an aptitude for afflicting or improving the reputations of those he comes across.
Oh.
And because he naturally knows quite a few people, and because he has a knack for reading and listening and being aware, someone back during the war against Napoleon put about that the barrister was perhaps acting in some kind of intelligence capacity.
Oh, wow.
And it was over nothing, really. The person was acting entirely in bad faith. But a word in the right ear, and that person has been eradicated completely from the social society. We must operate on good faith, mustn't we?
Oh my God, if you could have seen the look on Bucho's and Chris's face. That was amazing. I'm gonna screenshot that shit. Thank you.
Well,
Wow.
we got problems.
We got a real problem, honey.
We got problems.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. I love where this is going already. Everyone, if you can notice on your sheet, your luck scores have not populated. So I need each of you to please roll me a 3d6, multiply it by 5, and that is going to be your luck score.
Okay. I have rolled 55.
Oh, bravo.
Woof, 50.
Ooh.
That ain't great.
And gentlemen, if we leave here with even a scrap of luck remaining, we've done something horribly wrong.
I can assure you, I've got nothing but penalty rolls coming my way. I'm gonna be spending some luck.
Burn them, baby. How'd you do, Chris? The suspense is killing me.
I got 50. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, look at
No,
that.
you're good. You're good. You're good. I love that mute button. Way to use it, guys. Okay. So,
Yeah, we got
task-
problems.
oh, it's going to be great. Get ready to burn, babies. Get ready to burn. Okay. So, the task at hand. This was the information presented to the three of you by the Lord Privy Seal. One Sir Mark Fenton, an obscure merchant, has recently returned to England after some travels abroad. He spent his honeymoon in Venice with his new English bride, Isabel, and has recently returned. They reportedly live a simple, quiet, nearly reclusive life. According to the Lord Privy Seal's information, Isabel should have had a baby, a boy, somewhere within the last 6 months or so, but no one has seen it. The Fentons keep their doors tightly closed. They rarely venture out, and they conduct most of their business through their attorney, Sir Oliver Hanson. They're a bit of a mystery. His Majesty is very interested in this family, about their travels to Venice, though he's not saying why, and he's not making this an official royal inquiry. Hence, a more personal touch is involved, which is why this is being carried out through the offices of the Lord Privy Seal. Thus, you three are being sent out to Norfolk with the explicit instruction to, 1, make an introduction to the Fentons, lay eyes on that baby. His Majesty is very intentional about that. And then also to invite them back to court. The coming out balls in Norfolk have just started, and the reports say that Sir Mark Fenton has a younger sister, Marie. They think it's the name, who just turned 16. The Fenton house is actually opening up their doors for a single evening for the spring coming out ball. No surprise to anyone with this queer and mysterious family, it is a masquerade ball. But the doors are open. This was your way in. Retroactively, because we're not going to get ready, we're not going to role play the scene. I've got 2 hours. Retroactively, we're going to roll back time, and I'm going to give each of you the choice of one of 3 skills: a spot hidden, a psychology, or a reputation check. If you opt for reputation, you have to make a hard success to get the information that I am willing to give you. Starting with Mr. Samuel Creighton, would you like to take the spot hidden, the psychology? And I know damn well you don't want the reputation check. I won't even ask.
Hell no. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the spot hidden.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's good with his eyes, but he's still not so good at reading people necessarily.
Fair.
Which might be why he's so blunt too.
Okay. Okay, I like that. Roll me that spot hidden, babe.
Well, what are we looking at? 60. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a success.
We're cooking with grease?
Yep.
Okay. You are standing before the Lord Privy Seal, which you know this is, he's not a friend of yours, but he does contract work out to you often because we already previously established that he respects your integrity. And you're looking over his desk while the Lord Privy Seal is talking, and he's waving his hands, and you can see books and seals and other correspondences, and it looks like he has a file on the Fenton house. And what you see standing up just as you peek over is a declined Christmas invitation to court that was addressed to Mrs. Isabel Fenton and family. 2 things you pull from that immediately. 1, you don't address the woman in a household, you address the male. 2, she was real bold to decline His Majesty's invitation to come to court for Christmas.
Okay.
The Reverend Would you like a spot hidden, a psychology, or a hard reputation?
I would like a spot hidden. After all, all of my years of study and research at Oxford have trained my eye to find the small details and things.
I like that. Then roll me that spot hidden, love.
Sorry, Bridgett, was I supposed to roll that with a penalty die because of my reputation?
So in social settings, yes. And I'm going to, that's a story that doesn't need to be told on the stream. Per the rules, to my knowledge, it's social settings. And right now, this was a spot hidden. It's not like there's,
Okay.
This isn't a social maneuvering for you. This is you just looking.
I will wait for you to tell me when I enact that then.
And I will wait for you to remind me to tell you to enact it.
Okay.
We'll be fine. Look at God. Everything is fine.
I am afraid that I got a 73.
Okay.
On a scale of 60.
The Lord Privy Seal should really do a better job of organizing his paperwork. This desk is, well, one is frankly embarrassing. Sir Roger Gallows, are you opting for the spot hidden, the psychology, or that hard reputation?
I think as the bearer of the finest reputation among this group, I'm obligated to take that chance.
Let's take that chance together.
All right, here we go. And that is a 10 out of a reputation of 65.
Holy shit.
And who had doubts, really?
It was not I, sir. I knew you were capable of such feats. The last person you sent to the gallows would disagree. But a hard reputation. Check. Sir Roger Gallows, you're listening to the Lord Privy Seal speak about this Fenton individual, and it's tingling something, a memory, a thought, a rumor that's just tickling the back of your head, and you're going through a Rolodex of thoughts, and you remember this. There is a tight-lipped rumor about Sir Mark Fenton, a rumor that only a few have access to know. Prior to leaving Norfolk, he and his bride were the sole survivors. Oh, wait. Prior to leaving Venice, he and his new bride were the sole survivors of an event that occurred there, in which their host and all 16 of their guests died under strange and curious circumstances. All you know of the 16 that died, they weren't able to pull all of them out of the water. Venice isn't saying much. And as a matter of fact, they are already ready to move on from this incident, which is suspicious in and of itself.
Well, bear that in mind. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. If there is nothing else, let's hop into this party. It is spring 1818, and you are currently approaching a manor house by carriage for the coming out masquerade ball of the Fentons. This little agricultural village is small. There's a handful of well-appointed homes, a couple businesses, a single church, and this massive manor that the Fentons occupy. And all of it, the land is owned by Sir Mark Fenton. Sir Gallows, your carriage driver, because you're the only one with the credit rating high enough to even coordinate this, although the Lord Privy Seal may have. Your carriage driver has a 60% in drive carriage. Hey guys, this is another new skill for Regency Cthulhu. Drive carriage replaces drive auto and basically refers to navigating, driving any type of coach, buggy, or horse-drawn transport. So, Evan, on behalf of your carriage driver at a 60%, I need you to please roll how he's doing on this journey.
Absolutely. That's a 38.
Bravo!
Yeah. Fortune smiles on those who live an upright life.
It does. Bravo. It is a comfortable, joyous ride as you guys arrive at the Fenton house. Now, starting with Mr. Samuel Creighton, and then working our way around the table. I need all of you guys to roll me a fashion check. Haha, this is yet another new skill in Regency Cthulhu. This skill covers knowing the correct styles of the season and also how to dress well. So
Am I doing this one with a penalty die?
No, not a social setting. This is you in the privacy of your home. You're good.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I am a man of the cloth who is in grief. I mean, You think that I have time for such frippery?
You sure do.
Yeah, that's a hard nah
That's
from Samuel.
Uh,
Oof.
I'll go you one better. That's a harder
Yeah.
now. That's a 98
Did you fumble that?
for the. I sure did.
Oh, oh,
Nice.
oh,
How do you fumble fashion?
We're gonna find
oh.
out, ain't we?
We're gonna find out together. It's gonna be so good. Okay. The
Oh, you
Reverend,
know what?
you're
I know.
above.
I know how I fumbled fashion.
Holy
I'm
shit.
gonna tell you. Can I, Bridgett? Can I tell you how I fumbled fashion?
Yeah, really
Okay.
fast. Just because I'm doing rules forward. Hold on. Let me get Chris, and then let me cycle
Okay.
right back down to you because I'm gonna go pull up fashion really fast to see how bad I can tank your reputation score.
I don't quite understand this, but
Mhm.
out of 40, I just rolled an 8.
You're
Wow.
crushing it. You're crushing
You're
it.
one of those good-looking Anglican vicars, ain't you?
Holy
Well, I suppose that,
cow.
like, my time with the princess has rubbed off on me, and I have become a little bit more aware of my looks. Although scandalously, I still do remain without wife.
Yeah.
I've never married.
Holy
But you
cow.
look good.
But you look good, boo boo.
You look
Okay.
real good.
Let me reconcile because so much happened really fast, and I have the fashion skill up in front of me right now, at least. From what I'm understanding, Mr. Samuel Creighton failed. Nothing exciting. He just failed. Okay. Give me a quick blip back on what it means. Per the rules, a failed roll means a character simply did not manage to impress, while a fumble has some other things. So you could just be out of season. You could be in the wrong colors. You could have a button missing. But just tell me about your failure.
I think it's just the same shit he typically wears. Like it's just well-worn suits that are both too big and seem to fit him just right. Like
Okay.
they fit his personality basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just him.
Okay. I cannot wait to get to Evan. I'm so glad he's last. I'm cheering in my seat. Uh, Reverend, was that a hard? Was that a critical? What was that?
That was a critical. I got an 8 out of 40.
Okay. You already kind of told us that some of your time at court has brushed off on you. I am going to go ahead and allow you to add an additional 1d6 of reputation to your reputation score. You can roll that and add it to your sheet and just flesh us out a little bit more of really how you nailed this look.
Okay, I got a 2.
Okay, your reputation increases by 2.
Okay. Well, I have spent a few extra pounds on my outfit for this party. Gotten and I'm not being flashy, but I have dressed in sort of a deep crimson
Oh.
sort of jacket with some very nicely made lace trimmings. Once again, not so flashy that everyone might think that I am leading the sort of extravagant lifestyle that His Majesty has become known for.
Okay.
But enough that it might catch the eye of certain aristocracy.
Oh, you're definitely going to catch some eyes with an extreme success there. That is brilliant. Okay, guys, the moment that we have all been waiting for here. I am so excited. Sir Robert Gallows, just as rules forward facing, guys. According to the book, a failed roll means blah blah blah. I've already read that. While a fumble or a failed push roll, they are in some state of undress, such as having a missing button, an incorrectly tied cravat, or something that's falling to pieces. Take it away, babe.
So you must understand that normally Sir Roger is an impeccable dresser. All the latest fashions from Paris, he is perfectly put together. And of course, he doesn't wear his best ball attending clothes in the carriage the whole way. I mean, it's a very long drive from home, and you couldn't be
Right.
expected. So it's all packed the morning of, or the night before in some cases. And then, they pause at an appropriate tavern along the way or someplace, and he can change right before they arrive. When he opened his case to dress, he realized that someone had been into his bags the morning of departure and had changed everything out for an utterly unsuitable suit of clothes.
Oh.
And the only person with motive, capacity, and opportunity is his beloved sister, who must be holding some kind of childish grudge.
Claudia
has
is petty.
Absolutely sunk him. So he will have to have a word with Miss Claudia when he returns,
Oh my God.
if he survives the social faux pas
Oh my God.
and doesn't kill himself out of mere shame.
Evan, petty teenagers, baby. Petty teenagers.
Scare the hell out of me, man.
They're frightening.
I can't deal.
Those are the real fear factors in the game. Two things.
Sir Gallows, I would recommend that you not take such drastic action. After all, both our Lord and our King still do look down upon suicide.
Surely suicide must be no worse than poorly dressed. A close run thing, I'm sure.
Oh, I beg to disillusion you on that matter. After all, both, as I say, both the Lord and our King still require your services.
And yet you never see the Lord go about poorly dressed.
Oh! Sir Roger Gallows, I need two things from you, babe. Claudia did you dirty on this one. I'm going to go ahead and knock your reputation by a D8. Go ahead and roll that and let me know how it goes. That's for your fumble. Congrats.
Yeah. That's a 5. So that's a whole lot.
Whew.
Is what that is.
And also, because I love how quickly you retied in a tee up in your backstory, I'm going to grant you a bonus die at any point that you wanted at any point in the game. Congratulations, because that was
fantastic.
Sexy.
Thanks.
Okay. Your carriage comes to a stop as all of you approach the front doors of this manor house. There is a footman there accepting envelopes, invitations. Yeah, invitations that you don't have. You do, however, have a signed note from the Lord Privy Seal, so that'll definitely get you entry. But do you really want to flash that at the front door to a footman? Or would you be overplaying your hands to a stranger? Standing across from the footman, also greeting new arrivals, is a very tall man with a large overhanging belly, a bright smile, a pristine suit, and a gorgeous multicolored mask with brightly covered feathers. What do you all do?
Well, if it's fine by the gentleman, I would take that invitation to the footman because I don't care. I would like to get in there. I would like to find them.
Yeah. I think having recently had my reputation suffer, I think having the blessing of the court on this venture would help to save face somewhat.
Okay.
I will just, step forward, looking as stern and serious as I can, and nicely dressed as an occasion like this warrants, and say to the footman, I bring greetings from His Majesty as one of his faithful reverends. We look, my friends and I look forward to celebrating at your event tonight.
So we're just gonna name drop right out the gate. I love it. The footman looks to you, immediately looks to this gentleman to his right, and just does a partial bow, and he steps back, and this gentleman slides over, and he's just finishing up some boisterous laughter with somebody else that he's walking in. He says, There, what are you saying now? Do you have an invitation? If you're uninvited, you may not enter. Looks like he missed the name drop and is just kind of here because the footman kind of told him to come over.
Well, sir, I understand that, but as once again, as I was telling your servant here, we do come with greetings from the court of King George IV, and hope that we may both celebrate and assuage our grief at from the death of his beloved child Charlotte at your event tonight.
His Majesty, you say? Well, surely, because he's looking over bummy number 1, and looks like he just got pulled from the fountain. Thanks for that, chat bummy number 2. And then he's looking at you. You look like you belong. These other two definitely look uninvited. He's like, surely you have some paperwork or a seal or something to substantiate such a claim.
It's certain. I feel like I should have some sort of documentation. Do I not?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've got the letter from the Lord Privy Seal. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh right.
I'll hand it over. I figure
so,
I've got it in my hand.
So I'll present it to him.
So you're Sir Samuel Crichton, you're handling over. It carries over through the Reverend. He stops and he reads it, and he can't stop pulling his eyes over the top of the paper to look at whatever the hell Sir Roger Gallows is wearing right now. And he looks down at the paper and he says, well then, good sir, my deepest apologies. Welcome to the Fenton House. I am their barrister, of course, Sir Oliver Hanson. It's very nice to meet your acquaintance, sir. He's teeing up introductions.
Oh, for me, Roger Gallows. A pleasure to meet you.
I'm Mr. Samuel Crichton, and this is our barrister.
A royal barrister, yes. Is it?
Yes, perhaps I've seen you at and his name again was, I'm sorry.
No worries. Sir Oliver Hanson.
Oh, Sir Hanson, yes. I'm certain I must have tried a case at least down the hall from you at one point.
So I rolled his law just to see exactly what he knows about you, and he got a whopping 93.
Yes,
and he says,
safe for now.
No, I don't believe we've had the pleasure to make the acquaintance, but well met, good sir. Well met. Welcome to Norfolk. Please do go in.
Thank you. I look forward to speaking with you.
I'm going to make sure to like sort of stride confidently and just with a little touch of arrogance, implying that I do actually belong there.
Because you do belong.
And not pay much attention to the two the servant and the barrister, who really is, after all, just a higher degree of servant, is he not?
Oh, this is about to be the best
filing
hour and
that
a half ever.
Later. Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. The Fenton House is rigid, bare, detached, stark. It is an intentional. No, it's presented in a very intentional, depressing, and cold way. A complete separation from opulence. There are very few colors. All of the furnishings are just basic and bare. There are no cushions. There are no linings. There's no additional decor. Everything is wooden, that you can tell. Wooden tables, wooden benches, wooden chairs. And it's like even the food spread that they have is spread out over a clean wooden table, but there's no tablecloth. Like, decor is minimal to non-existent. There are no aesthetics here at all. Everything is functional, but it is barren. There is a main ballroom where people are dancing, laughing, whispering, pointing. They're all, grandly dressed with their masquerade masks on, and you can tell that they're all a bit taken aback about the condition of the house, but they're also like delighted about it. Like, this is that type of gossip that's going to keep them going for weeks. In the side, there is a library. You can see smoke billowing out of it, and you can hear gentlemen's laughter. Cards are being played. There's a small veranda just out back. A handful of people are outside taking in the night air, just getting a break from the people and the noise and the heat. There is a staircase. The staircase doesn't have a runner on it, of course, and it leads to the second floor. And right now it's currently sealed behind just like a stanchion with a footman sitting there. It's a very small crowd, guys, maybe 50 people or so. There is food, but mostly wine. Water wasn't the safest during these times, so you guys go through a lot of wine. And as you look over the food, it's all cold. Nothing has been heated. It's all been cooked. But the green beans are cold. The bread is cold. The chicken is cold. And everything is very sparsely seasoned. There's just an alarming lack of energy that's coming from the walls of this house. And you think to yourself, surely this is no place for a child and a family locked up in a house like this for weeks, months would go mad. I mean, the only color, the only spirit in this place are the guests. There's a lone violinist that is battling the mood of the house by himself with chipper and upbeat music. If you look up, there are high ceilings with wooden rafters that ache with age and are thick with dust. And sitting in a wooden chair on the floor at the front of the ballroom is a gentleman. Uh, and he's sitting there in a suit that may have looked good 6 years ago. It's clean, it's well put together, but it's very modest, and you can tell that it's old. You notice that this gentleman appears to be in his 30s. His gray eyes, strips of gray coming into his hair, and he's just looking up at the rafters. And sitting directly next to him is a younger girl, maybe 16. She is not wearing a mask, but she is in her ballroom fare. And you imagine this is probably Sir Fenton and his younger sister. What would you all like to do?
Well, first of all, as we pass the cold meals set out, I just kind of like examine them briefly and cock an eyebrow, not subtly, kind of like shocked that the servants dared to question the status of my two companions with a layout like this.
Okay.
And at that point, I shall set out over to the library, having having become quite expert in libraries during my time at Oxford, and as well, thinking that like a gentleman in such an environment will need a little bit of moral guidance. What with their card playing and their smoking and
Okay.
other
All right.
indulgences.
So the Reverend heads towards the library. How about you two?
So this is one of those situations where I'm considering myself working. So like consuming anything is going to take a back seat to the work.
Okay.
So even though like I'm also disgusted by it, but I've seen worse. Like I've seen much worse. Like it's weird for the situation for the current moment, but it's not the worst thing I've seen food wise.
Okay.
I think I want to talk to the teens, the kids looking up to the rafters.
Okay.
I want to like they seem to be for me the most interesting people here at the moment. They seem to be kind of wrapped up in their own thing as opposed to wrapped up in the thing, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
So just to clarify, in case I articulated it poorly, Sir Mark Fenton and you're assuming his sister Marie are at the front of the ball floor, sitting on chairs, looking up into the rafters. So you're talking about you want to approach them.
Yes. So it's the head guy. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I do.
Okay. Perfect. And our barrister.
And Sir Roger comes in and is immediately taken aback, and actually forgets himself for a moment and says, "Surely to God they remembered it was today. They were expecting guests." And then just immediately is ashamed by having spoken that out loud, and hustles past the food. He has no stomach for it at all, and knows that probably the appropriate thing is to make his greetings to the host.
Okay. Really fast, Sir Roger Gallows. Roll me a luck check.
Of course. 83. Things are going swimmingly.
Oh my God.
You make that statement out loud, just kind of escaped your lips before you could wrap it back in. And obviously there's a couple behind you that heard you, because as you depart from that space and move towards the front, your reputation is going to ding by another D4. Congratulations. As you can hear, presumably they sound like a married couple. You can hear the gentleman say, "Oh, he is one to talk." Again, in reference to that outfit. Congrats.
Of course. Yeah, no, suicide is increasingly attractive. This is just the best way out of here.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the two gentlemen approaching the host and his sister. As you guys are, there's, dancing on the floor. It's a small crowd. There's maybe like 4 couples on the floor right now. But as you guys cut across the ballroom floor and you approach this gentleman and you're assuming his younger sisters, simultaneously both of their chins drop and level at you and look to you. And the gentleman says, "I did not invite either of you."
I know enough to leave this in the Reverend's hands.
You don't want to try your social roles right now, babe, while you're at a penalty die? Come on, babe. Live your
Not
truth.
yet. Not yet. We got time. We got time.
Well, in that case, it sounds like possibly an opportunity to spread his goodwill and optimism and say, well, as we were passing through, we heard of the recent birth of your son, and sir, I give you joy of it. Madam, I give you joy of the birth of your brother. And we hoped we would not be imposing upon you by coming to visit and making the acquaintance of the happy family.
Sir Roger Gallows, you're speaking to this, and both of them are just staring at you, staring through you. And Marie says to you, I've already told you that's not my brother. He's not either. And you blink for a moment because there's no way she just said that out loud. And when you look at her, she just still has that stone cold face where she's just staring directly at you. And it's one of those moments where you're on the fence on whether or not you heard that or not.
Yeah. And I think he'll say, pardon, are you quite well?
She's fine. However, she is not up for discussing. She is here to dance. Are you inviting the lady to a dance?
Of course. How could I refuse? I had come to make the very same offer. Obviously not refuse, but you know what I mean.
And he looks to you and he just kind of moves a hand over his chest as almost like he's giving her permission. It's very much like a dog or like a trainer reacting to a dog where they're releasing them from like a place. It's almost like he's giving her like the break command where she can actually finally stand up. And she stands up and her eyes look up to the rafters and she extends a hand to you.
And he takes her hand and leads her over to where the dance may be going on or beginning or preparing. And he is extremely wigged out right now. Just this is contrary to his entire experience of social occasions. And he's hits upon something that might be innocuous. And he says, it's in our estate we often have leaks in the rain. Have you been having trouble with the roof? The damp getting in, perhaps?
And she looks to you and she says, are you here to help me?
And going out on a wild limb, he's just going to go with it and say, yes, of course, in any way that I can.
And she raises a hand to make physical contact with you with, oh my God, in the Regency area, that's not a thing, unless you're dancing. That's how that's how couples were able to touch. And she's almost just kind of like falling into the position as the music changes and it's time for you all to get swept onto the floor. And she says to you, we don't have much time. But at the point that she says it, you blink and it looks like she's looking upwards at the rafters again. And it's another one of those things like, is she fucking with me? I can't tell whether she said it or whether she didn't say it, and I need a dancing check from you, please.
Oh God.
I want to do something when you're done here.
I got you. I'm winding right back to you.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a 74 on a 5. So this is not one of his strengths.
This. Wow. At least
all the goodwill in the world, but not the technical skill.
So she looks up to the rafters. And she looks to you and she smiles as she realizes she's going to have to carry this dance as the music sweeps on. Hopping over to Mr. Samuel Creighton, you're standing there now in front of Sir Mark Fenton, who is looking at you.
So here's what I want to do. So I want to try the mesmerism skill.
Oh, new rule of Cthulhu, guys.
But here's what I want to do. So I want to, it's okay for men to shake hands in this era, right?
Yeah, you guys can shake hands. And at this point, you've been introduced.
Okay. So I don't know quite how this one works. I mean, I've got the skill up and I'm reading through it, but like what I want to do is I want to hold on to his hand unnecessarily long.
Okay.
Like uncomfortably so, and talk to him about like, it's I really appreciate you letting us in. Talk about all the work I did in Germany and in France and how they used to call me Das Grautuch, which means the gray shroud.
Okay.
And so what I want to do is, God, I don't know, like, I don't want to plant misinformation.
Okay.
but I think I want to suppress mental trauma because I'm assuming that whatever this weird behavior is stemming from some kind of a trauma.
Holy shit! I love it. I love it. I love it. And you've, I mean, you worked in the trenches during the year without summer. You've seen people in shock. So I like this. Go ahead and roll me that mesmerism.
Okay. And so, fuck, this is going to be at a disadvantage too, isn't it?
This one for sure is going to be with a penalty die. Yeah. And while Bucho's rolling, guys, mesmerism is a 1% uncommon. Mesmerism replaces the hypnosis skill. Along with reassure, it's a way to treat suffering, those suffering from mental illness or trauma in the Regency era. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was a 96 both times.
Good for you. I'm so excited for you. Good for you.
Yeah. That was going to be really dope if it worked too.
Sometimes the rolls just don't love us, babe. Okay, so extend a hand, and you're basically running down your resume, but you're also trying to get a feel for him and kind of like help him because obviously he's in some type of emotional disrepair.
Yeah, sometimes just talking to people kind of helps them like relax, and like the longer you talk, the more they get wrapped up in it, and the easier it is to just talk them down.
This is a very unsettling encounter for you, Mr. Samuel Creighton, because one, the longer you talk, your mouth is getting more and more dry to the point with you even swallowing and lubricating your own throat with saliva. It doesn't feel like it's enough moisture. Your mouth is getting drier and drier and drier as you're speaking. And you notice that as you have him captivated. He's listening to you. He's watching you talk. And you can see like this thin smile creep around his lips as he notices that your mouth is getting more and more dry, almost as if he's amused, almost as if he's the source of it. And then you feel a sensation, Mr. Samuel Creighton, that is unlike a sensation you have ever felt before. What it feels like, to the best that I can describe, as if somebody stuck a finger into their mouth, rolled it around where it's wet, and then stuck it inside of your belly button, and then started slowly spinning it around.
What in the ass, Bridgett?
That is the sensation that you're feeling as you're talking to him.
That's
right
an
now.
atomic wet willy, is what that is. Oh, that was a playground thing. Oh.
It's not a sand check, but that's what you're feeling underneath those loose fitting clothes. It's ongoing. It's not one. It literally feels like somebody has, and it's just rolling around the inside of your belly button.
Oh my God. Am I doing the sanity checks with a
no, thank God. Okay. But this isn't a sand check. This is just what is happening. And God, you could really use some water right now. He's just smiling at you.
Clearly this is not working out the way that I had expected. And I am unnecessarily thirsty to the point where I can't deny it now. So I will try to force myself off his hand and excuse myself. I seem to not really feeling myself right now. I apologize. I need to step away for a moment.
And he doesn't let go of your hand. Moving over to the Reverend. I love you, Bucho. Heading over into the library with the books. You studied at Oxford. And there are gentlemen there. They are laughing. They are talking. And they are gambling.
Okay. The first thing I do is I just kind of like eye the books on the shelves, making a note of the contents. I do know that like some gentlemen houses like this like to stock their books almost randomly, in order to pretend learning, to give the impression of learning. So I'm curious about like whether he has actual interests or whether he is actually a learned person.
Yeah. As you are just, very quickly scrolling around the room, moving through smoke and laughter, and you're looking at the books. It's not a very well-stocked library by any means. Of all the shelves, so many of them are just empty, and there's no ornaments or decor or anything. It's just bare shelves. The handful of books that you do see are all religious in nature. Religious psychology, religious sociology, everything has some type of Catholic defense material about it. It's almost like what you would see from like a Catholic apologist is everything that you're seeing on these shelves.
So
which he should know better than to have these out.
He's been reading the Papists, has he?
Mm.
Well, I feel a bit of dismay at his approach, but yet I'm glad that he has a certain interest in spirituality.
Oh yeah. And as you're moving through the bookshelves, you realize that your heart rate, for whatever reason, feels like it just turned down by 80%. Because as you're moving from one shelf to the other, you almost feel faint for a moment, and you can hear your heart beating in your ears, and that don't is slow, way too slow.
What is the physical effect? Does the room look dimmer, or do I feel like I'm going to faint? Or
yeah, you're feeling lightheaded at the moment, like you almost have to grab onto a shelf. You feel like you're getting ready to. If this keeps up, you feel like you're getting ready to drop.
Okay, so I lean onto one of the shelves, my fingers sort of pressing into the spines of the books.
Okay.
And at first I'm just trying to attribute it to the taste of the smoke,
Okay.
because I feel like these gentlemen are not smoking the best quality tobacco.
No, not all the way out here.
Yeah, and certainly not the type fit for gentlemen of their station. It's more of a harsh and foul quality weed.
Okay. You've braced yourself here on the shelf, and you're equating it to the smoke. And that's when you hear a baby crying from above you. Nope. It's below you. Nope. 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 That's from somewhere in this room. It's definitely somewhere in this room. And you look around. There's no baby in this room, but you can hear. Nope. It's not crying. It's cooing. No, that's definitely a baby. Nope. It's giggling. What is going on with this baby?
I'm sort of looking around and seeing if any of the other men in the room are hearing this, while at the same time trying to pinpoint the sound. Is anyone else reacting?
Yeah, so you're looking around the room to see if anyone else is reacting. And versus a listen check, can I get a spot hidden from you?
Sure.
Okay.
I am rolling against a 60.
Okay.
Oh, 83.
Okay. With an 83, you're looking around the room to where this baby's cooing, giggling, coughing, now crying is coming from. And the only thing that you do notice that standing there with a hand of cards in front of him is a gentleman who everyone else at the table is trying to encourage to play. Like Sir Henry, if you would. Sir Henry? Sir Henry, and whatever it is going on, he has this deck of cards in front of him, and he's just staring at the cards. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, so I will sort of like move over towards him, pushing through the smoke, and put my hand on his shoulder and sort of like lean down and say, Sir Henry, do you require assistance?
And he looks over to you and he says, there's something inside of me. Hopping over to the dance floor. Sir Roger Gallows, you have the teenage Marie in your arms. You are doing an absolutely abysmal job on the dance floor. Thank God you didn't fumble. I started ticking away at your reputation scores a little bit more. And you're looking in the eyes of this 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, and I'm struggling to keep up and sort of panting as I say this is, say, Miss Fenton, yeah, I understand this must be a difficult time. I have a sister your age at home, and she is facing some uncomfortable circumstances as well, and I might offer you the same advice that things will be well, and you have support, of course. Myself would be happy to help you, and and I understand there's been some trouble in the family, and there's some unpleasantness in Venice, perhaps. And what I mean to say, pardon me for my bluntness, is that should you require assistance, I believe I may help as best I can.
You're dying right now, and you don't even see it. Oh, I was so stupid to believe that you could help me. And it looks like she's getting ready to pull away from you.
And I hold her just shy of socially inappropriately. I say, no, Miss Fenton, you must believe. I do not know what ails you, but I am deeply troubled by your home, and whether it is something that afflicts you or something that is imagined.
She
I would see you
snaps at
safe.
you. She said, "It ails both of us." And she comes in and she kisses you. Right there on the floor, open mouth. She leans in on you.
Miss Fenton. And he looks about and says, points to a servant and says, "Oh, she's faint. She's faint." He pulls her in closer as though she can't hold herself, and says, "Please, refreshment, something." And he leads her off the dance floor if she'll go with him.
Yeah, you kind of have her pinned here against your chest as she's moving against you. And as you're calling to the servants, you realize that you can see your breath in the air.
And he calls for a blanket or some kind, I don't know what they would call it, some kind of thing, cloak. Please, several, bring them. Miss Fenton, is this a normal occurrence in your home?
You're dying and you don't even see it.
Help me understand, please.
You know she's going to do it again, right? She's going for the lean in again. And as you're talking to her, you again can see your breath on the air as if you're in a freezing cold environment, but you're also sweating because it's hot in this room. There's 50 people in this room right now moving about. It doesn't make any sense that you would be sweating and that you are hot, but that you can see your breath on the air. And she leans in to kiss you again.
And he pulls back, says, the orchards, of course. I assume you must have orchards. Let us tour them. I believe you are all aflame to show them to me. And leads her out towards an exit.
I like this. Okay, can I get a I think what I want to see here from you is probably a charm.
No.
You
Oh,
said
no,
no?
that's fine. No, that's fine.
No.
Well, it would have been fine. You know what? Damn it. 78 on a 60. I'm going to spend 18 points of luck. Why else do I
Holy
have
shit,
it?
big spender. Yes.
So
Yes.
that's going to leave me with let's say 37. If I'm wrong, and who cares? And yeah, and that's going to work.
All right. So you are leading her with her arms almost bound into your chest. You're like, "Oh my God, what is going on with this child?" You're leading her out to the orchards. And you notice that her head rolls back one more time and she sees something jumping in the rafters. And Sir Roger Dallows, as you look up, two sensations happens. You don't see whatever it is she's looking at. But when like dust or sawdust is unsettled and it kind of falls down, you kind of get that mist in your eyes. You get that kind of sensation. And you get a second sensation somewhere between the top of your chest cavity and your belly button. And again, I don't know how else to describe this, but you get the sensation that someone has rolled out a piece of like scotch tape there and is very slowly peeling it back up. So you're getting that sensation of your skin coming up off of your chest, but also like the discomfort of like hairs being pulled off of your chest. And that's what's happening right now as you're looking up and shit is falling into your face.
Oh,
Yeah,
God. Yeah, we're going to talk about this later. We're going to talk about why you're able to do this.
Jesus, Bridgett, Jesus.
But it's almost comical if you weren't absolutely losing his gourd here, because he's like trying to wipe at his eyes and hold on to this, who he thinks hysterical girl, and kind of swat or scratch at his stomach, and so his arms are everywhere at once, and sort of attempting to lead her out to the outdoors.
And you're swatting up top and you've got a hand like on that weird spot between just like your chest and your belly.
And it's even worse because he's like holding her and using that hand to scratch his stomach, and like it looks unwholesome.
And
there's
a lot happening right now.
There's a lot going on.
There's so much happening, and she pulls up onto her tippy toes because she's already intertwined with you, and she whispers into your ears like, "Stop that. You'll make them mad." Sir Samuel Creighton, You've got a lot going on right now. Sir Mark Fenton hasn't let go of your hand. You've got something going on in your belly button that just feels like it's spinning even slower at this point and getting wetter. And it's getting really hard to swallow.
Yeah, I think at this point, I've realized that something is horribly, horribly wrong. I don't know what. I can't put a name to it, but this is definitely out of my purview. I'm gonna try the mesmerism again. I'm gonna like double down on that, and
Okay.
like now I'm going to approach it from a less friendly aspect and more from a combative aspect.
Fuck yes.
I don't know how we're gonna like.
Doesn't matter.
I
We'll
guess-
figure it out.
Yeah. All right. So I want this to be more of a forceful use of mesmerism to get control of his behavior.
So this is an attack roll, effectively, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I think it probably would be. It's
An
certainly
aggressive
more
action.
It's an aggressive action. Yeah.
I'll drop your penalty die for this.
Okay. Lord bless me with a critical. That is not a critical. May I spend luck or may I push it?
You can do both, baby. Listen, it's your stream, it's your day, baby. What you doing? What did you roll so the audience knows?
I rolled an 81 over 70.
Okay.
I'm a push.
How are you pushing?
God. Just continually like pressing onto his hand much harder. Like there's a physical force now where like at first it was a mental force and now it's both a mental and a physical force. So that's what I'm dealing with. Like he's crippling me mentally and physically at this point.
Okay. Did you fucking fail that push roll? Oh, Bucho, it's gonna be so good for you. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you. Okay.
I told you we were gonna finish on time.
We are gonna finish on time, damn it. Listen, we got it. Pacing on fleek. You are attempting to weaponize this skill against Mark Fenton, and you realize just short of too late that you can't bullshit a bullshitter and you can't out mesmer a mesmer. Because once you have that realization and you realize that you're in danger, there's a jerk and he pulls you forward where you're face to face with him. And he says, I told you you were uninvited. Now you'll never leave. And there's a moment that passes through time and space. And you look up. It's kind of weird for you to be looking up at this point because you're laying on your back. You're laying in your back in this room. But it's dark. The only light that's coming in is moonlight. The food that was on that table has long spoiled. It is covered in maggots and bugs. And you look up and you're looking up at the rafters, and jumping from rafter to rafter are 5 or 6 creatures that you've never seen before, that you can't possibly explain, but they're bipedal? Nope, they're definitely quadrupedal. Are they both? Why do they have wings? And what you see, just jumping from rafter to rafter, rafter to rafter, rafter to rafter, rafter to rafter, you see uncouth black things with smooth, oily, well-like surfaces, unpleasant horns that curve inwards towards each other, and long bat wings that when they beat make no sound at all. They have these ugly long paws and a very long barbed tail that whips about. I am going to need a sanity check from you as I continue with the description. That's what you see because you're on your back now. You realize that. That's what you see when you look up. But when you roll your head to the right or you roll your head to the left, you see people. You see the rest of these guests, and they're all laying on their back too in various states of disrepair. And the one thing you're seeing is that these winged bat-like creatures are jumping strategically from person to person. And every time they land on a new person, their wings shiver, shudder, and they extend a little bit. And that tail comes out and it cuts through fabric. It cuts underneath fabric and it's going somewhere to each of these persons' abdomen places. And you can see people's backs begin to arch almost into this barbed tail. And you notice that they're all screaming voicelessly as this creature just looks down at them, and there's a chitter and a jump, and then that creature will jump and go to the next person. And there's about 50 people on the floor, on the stairs, strapped all across. And then what was your saying?
Yeah, I got a 17 out of 80.
Oh, hey,
So
good for you.
yeah, crushed it. Now
Good.
that I'm here on the other side of the veil.
Good for you. I'm so happy for you. No, you're still okay. You're still okay.
This is normal
You're only
shit.
going to take 2 from this, babe.
Okay.
Let's be careful when Bridgett says she's so happy for us. I mean,
I am. Don't do me like that, Chris. Not in front of people. Don't do me like that, baby. Come on, I love you.
you know, one day I hope to survive one of Bridgett's games.
You might make it out of this one. You're fine. What's your
I don't know that
involuntary reaction, Mr.
My
Sam Creighton?
My involuntary reaction.
Yeah.
I think if I don't have one of those tails in me now at the moment when I'm seeing all this, like
You
it
don't
certainly
right
feels like I've got a phantom tail inside me, which is quite a phrase. And so explain to me how are the people all standing normally, or are they all laying down?
Everyone
as well?
is laying down on the ground.
Is
Everyone
it in order?
is on the
Is
ground.
it in an orderly fashion, or is it just like whatever?
Oh, it looks like they fell where they were standing.
Okay. My involuntary reaction is to shake and shimmy and hopefully get the tail out. I think I'd want to jump onto one of the things if I get the chance.
Okay.
And just strap myself to its back.
Okay. So you're on your back looking up right now. You're getting ready to roll over onto your hands and knees and go?
Yeah.
Okay. You're up and you're on your hands and your knees, and babe, you feel weak. You feel so weak. You don't know how long you've been on this floor. You're dehydrated. You're hungry. You don't think you could scream if you tried to. Your mouth is so incredibly dry. You can see your breath on the air. Your muscles just don't feel like they belong to you right now. And you put that first hand forward when 3 of these creatures' heads snap immediately and look at you. And you can feel that tickle of something moving across your rib cage from behind you and going right back to that sweet spot. Reverend Matthew Gower. The last thing you heard was this gentleman looking into his deck of cards saying, "It's inside me."
I gently, you know, sort of like nudge his shoulder and try to get him up out of his chair and say, "Let's go get it out of you then."
And he stops and he folds the cards down. He says, "Gentlemen, if you'll excuse me."
Okay.
And he's getting up, and it's slow. It's uncomfortably slow, as if he's trying to stop himself from taking damage from something. Imagine that you were being held at knife point, but you had mobility, but the knifeman still had the knife to your stomach. He's moving with that, cautious intention.
Okay. I sort of like take him by the shoulders, not like really hard, just enough to steady him and sort of like help him stand on his feet. And as I get him to full height, sort of like put one hand around my shoulder and guide him towards the door. And I'm going to like sort of move out towards the balcony, try to get him some fresh air away from this foul tobacco.
Okay. It takes a bit. You get a few glances, but you're able to start working him out. And he says to you, "Do you not feel it?" Is it just me?
I feel what you're talking about, but I feel there may be other people who feel it. It does feel a strange atmosphere here tonight. Can you tell me what it is?
No. But I felt it since I arrived. I thought it was the heat. I thought it was maybe the food, but and he just I don't think I can move further. And like his entire body is just so tense right now, Reverend. It is so tense. He's so tight right now.
Mm-hmm. I just sort of like I'm talking in a soothing tone of voice. I do have a fairly decent charm if I need to use it. And I say, do you want to go outside?
He almost looks too afraid to speak. It's almost as if him speaking is going to move something in his abdominal or diaphragm area, and he's not willing to give that a single inch at this point. He
Uh-huh.
barely manages to look at you and give you a panicked yes, and then that quickly
Okay.
turns to a shaking his head no.
Okay. Can I say where is this thing inside you? What is it?
And he just drops his chin and he looks down towards his belly button region.
Mm-hmm. I sort of, wave my hand around that area, and I'm like nodding here. Well, the Anglicans don't practice don't practice exorcism, but I sort of like start muttering a brief prayer for him. It's to tell the truth. The Reverend Mr. Gower is more of a career sort of person. So it's not that he really puts a lot of faith in faith. But he does know that like sometimes this sort of thing helps people get their act together. Get a little bit of extra strength. Yes.
So you begin to utter this prayer as you're waving your hand around his abdominal area. He's mostly just rigid at this point. And Father Gower, you're not a young man by any means, especially for the times. You're 52. But as you are like bending over just slightly to utter this prayer, there's something in your back that feels tight and uncomfortable and cold. And there's no other way that I can describe this other than it feels like you fell asleep back facing on a flight of stairs. That's the type of pain and discomfort and spasm that you're having right now. Like you were a young man in your younger days and you had partaken in too much and you had fallen asleep on a flight of concrete stairs on your back. That's what you feel like in this particular moment.
Is this something I've ever felt before?
No.
Okay. So I sort of wince and maybe start to try to straighten up again.
Okay. Straightening up is tough, but you're able to do it. It feels like you're standing for the first time after maybe a week.
And I sort of like grit my teeth and look at Sir Henry, and I say, what does it feel like for you, Sir Henry?
I'm not even going to cliffhanger that. I'm just going to move on to the next scene because I can't get creepier than that. There's no way I can top that creepy, so I'm not going to try. Sir Roger Gallows, you have Miss Marie Fenton. Not quite out, but just about out, right? We've had some sensations with the scotch tape on her stomach. Mm-hmm. We've got dust coming in her eyes, and you're still leading her out.
And now I'm sort of talking to her very rapidly. I said, Miss Fenton, I like to believe that I do not lack at all for courage, but I must admit that I cannot see who or what it is that torments us. You said that we might make them angry. Have we any other choice? If there's anything that I can do to secure your safety, that of Mrs. Fenton, or the child. I find myself at a loss, Miss.
She looks up into the rafters one time. She says, "No, that child is a lie. It's not. It's not what you think. That child is a lie. This is a lie. This is not real. This is a palace. It's a palace. It's a demon palace. All of the hell is empty. All the demons are here." And she's jumping in between weird Shakespeare, and now she's jumping into some weird Latin. And you can see that pretty smile and the dancing where she's actually fractured. She was just holding it together a lot better than she could possibly imagine.
He feels, not to inter-narrate too much, but he's built his entire life on the premise that people of goodwill and in good faith can come together and make things work out. Oftentimes he's had occasion to wonder whether that was a reassuring story that he told himself. But he feels completely secure and sure in that now, in this moment of horror. And he takes both of her hands and he says, "Miss Fenton, though there may be devils ringing all around us, there are still those of us with good hearts and good faith. And I will walk you out and I will see you free at any cost." And he tries to bring her back to herself and keep her together long enough to get out of range of whatever this horrible sensation is.
Holy cow. Let's bring out that Regency Reassure. I feel like this is a great time for Reassure.
And against 40 with all of the good faith in the world.
And that 18-point spin that you just did.
That is, you know what? Oh, well, can I use a bonus die here that I obtained earlier?
I'm going
to
argue you damn sure can, because you're of a better sort fellow, right? With your reputation.
Yeah.
And this is a social situation.
Yeah.
So reputation, it is, what was it again? It's appearance divided by 5.
No, your reputation score is the average of your etiquette and your credit rating.
Oh, I'm sorry, reassure.
Oh, sorry. Jumping over. Reassure is
it's app by 5, and then you can add whatever you want to it after.
Yep.
Boy, that's rough. Okay.
Tell me about it.
Okay.
That's some commentary on real life, is what that is.
Honey. Okay.
All right. So the first roll was not promising. The second roll was 73, but I only need 33 to get down to a success, and I have 37, so I'm leaving myself.
I can't wait for the group luck check at the end of the game, guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, by dooming us all, but damn it, I'm gonna get this girl out of here.
Oh god.
I'm blowing all my luck save 4, and this is a stunning success.
Okay. I'll jump in at the end, but give me narrative on what this looks like, because you had to work for it.
Yeah, so this is I mean, it's like, for me, it's like when your foot falls asleep and every step is agony, because you can not really feel your foot, but you can feel it in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
And so he's still now trying to navigate a near hysterical girl, trying to scratch this thing off himself, dealing with this feeling of grit, sawdust in his eyes, and get down some steps into the garden. And so he's basically just committing himself fully to it, has no idea if he's about to fall and break his neck. And it really feels more like falling or collapsing outward. And probably they do both hit the grass, sort of insensible of any bruises they may have picked up on the way.
Okay. I'm looking at the Reassure per the Regency rules. A successful Reassure roll enables the recipient, this would be Marie, to recover +3 sanity points, which is dope. It can also help bring a person out of a delusion due to an underlying insanity.
Okay.
And there's some other little sexy stuff here. So what I am going to say with a successful pushed roll is that for the time being, you have her temporary insanity suppressed.
Okay.
So she looks to you as you guys both hit the ground, and for a moment, like your foot coming out of being asleep. Beautiful description, by the way, Evan. Like a light being turned on, she looks to you and she says, This isn't real. This is a prison, a palace of their own. We're here, but good sir, we are not here. I don't know how to articulate. I don't know how quite to say it. We are here in this manner, but we are being fed upon. This is an illusion. An illusion? That's the best word that I can think of at this moment. This is an illusion. It brings us here to keep us docile. We are dying next to ourselves in this moment.
And what is the nature of our pursuer?
Its need to feed. But
And we must either kill it or starve it.
And she looks over you, and she looks at, the people that are still on the inside. And I don't believe starving it will be an option. It has so much to feed upon. But it does answer to him. And she's glaring inside at Sir Mark Fenton.
Wow. You mentioned before that he is not, in fact, your brother. Is this so?
No. No. He
Is he
brought
any
me back
relation
with
to you at
them.
all? Hmm.
No, from Venice. This is not my home. And he is not my brother. And that baby is a lie.
There is my coach, miss. If you would shelter there with my coachman, he has a rifle on him. I assume coachmen often do.
I like it.
He will keep you safe. I will go and see if this false brother can be dealt with. Do you know who he is?
I don't know what he is.
No. All right. Then we shall see what. And he kind of in a comically bravado kind of fashion, kind of cracks his knuckles, and he says, "We shall see what reason and good faith may do."
And she looks
I
to
just
you pitifully because she doesn't think that's going to help at all today.
I just imagine that's the same thing you say every day before you go to court and lose your cases.
Oh, absolutely.
And loses cases.
Like
Absolutely.
that's your catchphrase. Like,
yeah, like straightening his dicky or whatever it is that they wear. I don't know what
that's your Stuart Smalley moment. Like, gosh darn it, I'm good enough.
Mr. Samuel Creighton, you feel something wrapping around the back of your rib cage. You feel something going inside, and you are sitting on a chair, a very uncomfortable wooden chair. A single violinist is dancing and playing. People are on the floor, and there is a footman standing next to you offering you a glass of wine. Good sir, are you all right?
I'm fine. I'll be okay. Thank you. I won't need anything. Now there's two things that I want to do here, and I'm going to leave it up to the dice to figure out which one I'm going to do.
Ho.
So if it's odds, what I'm going to do to myself is the same thing I used to do to the children who were about to die. I would change up their memories so that they had something nice to focus on. Or if it's the evens, I'm going to use that same mesmerism power to attack the noodly appendage that has found its way inside me.
That was way worse than anything I described, Bucho. You did that shit to yourself. The noodly appendage. That shit.
All right, so first I'm going to roll to see which one it's going to be.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, all right. So I'm sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
And
Footman is there with a glass of wine.
Yep. You know what? I will have that glass of wine.
Very good, sir.
Take the wine, and I'm going to chug it and chug it. And then I'm going to break the stem off on the chair so that I have a knife-like object in my hand.
Okay.
And with the mesmerism, I'm going to make an aggressive movement against the noodly appendage. Just with the mesmerism, not with the broken glass.
Look, I know this is a tense moment, but can we just, enshrine aggressive movement against the noodly appendage as a euphemism for what I dare not say, but
Chris,
it must
can you
live
throw
on
it into the
forever.
Symphony quote board, please? I make an aggressive. What is it again? One more time. I make an aggressive
movement towards the noodly appendage.
The noodly appendage.
We're not coming back from this, folks.
Ever.
We've crossed it. We've crossed the line here. We're just
this is our Rubicon.
Return. Okay.
Oh wait, I gotta do it with a penalty die, don't I?
No, not on an attack. This isn't a social situation. This isn't social maneuvering.
Then that would definitely be an extreme. No. Yeah.
You want to make it an extreme? Is it? Is it
not? It's an extreme. It's below extreme.
Okay.
So yeah, we're golden.
I'm getting ready to give you narrative.
Okay.
But I just need to react to what's actually happening in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because this creature can't see it coming. Okay, I'm going to do a reverse tee up to you, Bucho. Effectively, you understand what's going on out of game?
Yeah.
More or less, you understand what's going on? Okay.
I mean, essentially.
Okay, so this creature can't actually see what's happening in whatever little la la land it just uploaded you on into the Matrix. It can't see what you're doing. It can't control anything. What you do is get echoes or moments or feelings or sensations of where you actually are in real time. So I am not going to neuter you by any means by giving this thing a spot hidden or a psychology. It is doing what it needs to be doing. It is feeding right now, and it doesn't see this coming. So what I actually need you to do is tell me what this looks like in real time, not where you are, if that makes sense. I need you to give me in the dark, on the cold floor, being fed upon for probably a week at this point with this thing hovering over you.
I think it feels like my eyes wide open, staring up at, like, up into the sky.
Yeah.
Because it's through the rooftop. The roof is open, right? There's moonlight coming in.
There's still a roof to this building. The moonlight's just coming in through the windows. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then I would focus on the moonlight coming in through the window. Like I would look that way. And I would imagine this thing inside, and I would picture like the white light of the moon kind of like compressing in on it, like putting tentacles into it or thorns into it and just like squeezing.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me damage. I'm going to give you with the, because this is just like the bottom of a goblet, right? I'll give you a 1d3 plus your damage bonus.
Okay. Oh yeah, just D3 then.
Okay.
Okay. That's going to be a 2.
Oh, I like it. I like it. You're sitting in this chair. You've just chugged the wine. The footman is standing before you, and you're stabbing down at your abdomen area. And in a blip, you're back on the floor with this thing's tail whipping around you, throwing black, ichor-looking blood over your chest and over your face. And it looks frantic. It looks confused. And that's saying a whole lot, being that this thing doesn't have a face. It's just a smooth black piece of flesh that covers its head. It has no eyes, it has no mouth, it has no nose, but you can see that it is distressed. And the only thing that makes this more unsettling is that it never makes a sound. It doesn't scream, it doesn't screech, it doesn't moan, it doesn't grunt. The wings, almost like opening up a fan, clap out noiselessly, and this thing hunches down and jumps and races back into the rafters.
Fantastic. So now I have a weapon and I'm free of its grip.
Yeah.
If I see the others feeding on any of the other bodies, I will go on a little rampage I'll become the Black Shroud.
Directly next to you, Mr. Samuel Creighton, there is a woman, and you remember passing her when you came in. You think she made a slick offhand comment about one of your colleagues here with her husband, and she's on the ground and her head is rolled over, and she makes eye contact with you, and she's looking at you, and it's just like she says, long tear trails down her face, and she's jerking uncomfortably as one of these things is like over her, and this tail has disappeared somewhere within the fabrics of her dress, and she's just jerking, and fresh tears begin to fall down her face as she's just staring at you. She can't speak. She's looking at you, and she is currently being tickled. Back to the Reverend.
Okay, here I am, and I'm feeling this thing pierce me.
Yeah.
I can't see it though, right?
No, you have no idea where this is coming from. Is it indigestion? Is something physically there? It feels like something is actually there, Reverend.
Okay, I'm just gonna start sort of like groping around my midsection, my back,
Okay.
and my front, and just kind of like, because it feels like there's a tactile sense of something being there, but I can't see it.
Roll me a power check, baby.
Power. Okay.
Oh, I love the way you said that. That was dope. Power. Yeah, Evan, exactly. Power.
I call upon the power of George IV of the United Kingdom of England.
The thirst traps on Symphony, honey.
Okay, that's a 75 from a roll of 60. So
keep it, push it, spend it. All the glitter's falling off my face, guys.
Yeah, yeah, I think I'm going to I think I'm going to push it, just because
Andy is such team push it. Every fail roll, push it. Team
yeah,
Andy, I'm here for you, baby.
I'm just going to, draw on my sense of growing desperation and bewilderment.
Okay.
And just try to focus my consciousness even more on what is happening to me. I am a man of both faith and reason, and I'm going to draw on both of those.
Okay.
53, and I'm going to spend.
Can't spend on a push.
No, damn it. Okay.
Did you fail?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait. I have 60 power.
I thought it was a 60.
60. Yeah.
Yep.
Shit. I was about to say, man, that game ended fast. Reverend, you are grounding yourself. You're tuning yourself to whatever it is, these sensations, these feelings that you are having, and you can see on the inside of your eyelids moonlight bathing in through them, which doesn't make any sense because you're in a well-lit room right now. But when you open your eyes, you see a very similar scene. Not a very similar. You see the exact scene that I previously described to Sir Samuel Crichton. You are on a flight of steps right now. Those steps that had the stanchion with no runner on it. You're on that flight of steps right now. Your neck is just bent back at an awkward angle. Moonlight is bathing you. You are blinking. You can see your own breath when you breathe. Everything hurts. Everything aches. You feel so tired. You're hungry like you've never been hungry before. Your mouth is dry, and you can see in the rafters these things moving, jumping, silently scampering about. And as you kind of roll your head and you look, there are people everywhere. There's a woman at the landing of the same flight of steps that you're on right now. There are people all over. You see the body of Sir Roger Gallows on the floor, and one of these creatures is using its wings to kind of huddle over towards him. Looks like it's getting ready to mount him and do something to him. You are currently unoccupied. Nothing is tickling you at this moment. And you can see Mr. Samuel Creighton right across the hall from you coming to his feet.
Okay. Am I able to pull myself to my feet?
Yeah, you're able to pull yourself to your feet, and I do need you to make a sanity check, please. Thanks for that, Andy. I forgot who's been here and who hasn't.
Sanity.
Act like you've been here before.
There it is. I got a 3.
Damn! Okay, you're only going to lose one. What is your involuntary reaction?
My involuntary reaction is to just let out a horrendous scream, but it's not that it is not a scream of helplessness. It is a scream of all the emotions that have been buried and locked up and building for the last few months. It is a scream.
Yeah.
It is a scream of terror. It is a scream of grief. It is a scream of rage. And I am seeing that seeing these creatures as the physical embodiment of all of that, of everything that I have set aside so that I could do my duties.
You scream, and so much weeks, days, hours of stress and anxiety are just released. And after you get all of that, just that off of your chest, you almost feel like you've pulled yourself down from across. That scream was also a calling card to every creature in this room that said, up. One of them woke up. And as you're looking around, there are about 30 faceless, black, smoothed over heads that all turn and look at you. Sir Roger Gallows, you are going to approach the Sir of the House unless I am wrong.
Well, not exactly.
Oh!
So he has squared his shoulders, and he has initially intended to go and confront the master of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realized that he doesn't really know what he's up against. He doesn't really know what to do about it. And he hasn't seen, he doesn't really know what's going on. But what he knows is that he can destroy someone with a word. And he is very good at persuading people that something is a problem and needs to be dealt with.
Okay.
And so if you'll allow it, he's going to circulate among the party goers. And he's going to say to them, I have recently learned that it is a grave mistake to ignore the warnings and fears of young women. And what I have learned tonight is that the gentleman calling himself Mark Fenton is not quite the thing and has behaved very improperly indeed towards the young Miss Fenton, and perhaps towards other members of this household as well. No, he is not quite the thing at all. And so what he's trying to do is you mentioned like the Matrix, he's trying to like red pill this entire room of people and snap them out of it by spreading a rumor.
Holy shit, Evan. So give me just a second. This might be my last Regency Cthulhu FYI of the evening. The reputation mechanic offers you the ability to spread rumors and gossip to change the tide of conversations or groups of people. So let's see here. A reputation roll when spreading gossip means that the listener believes the tittle-tattle, although they are unlikely to spread it further. You can override that in this situation because I think it's amazing. On a hard success or better, not only is the gossip believed, it also spreads beyond the initial recipient. The rules have called for a hard reputation check, baby.
Any chance we could go with persuade? No, that's fine. All right. Well, because I did take a beating in my reputation earlier, it's at 56 now.
It's not terrible.
So, God be with us. Here we go. 48, not quite a hard check.
Wait, really fast. What did you say your number was right now?
Oh, it's 56 currently.
Okay, so 56.
Are you out of luck?
So there's no penalty or no bonus to the roll.
Yeah.
Is what I'm looking at right now. You said 56. You're in between the 40 and 59 range right now, so you don't have the bonus die right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I did award you a bonus die earlier in the game that you could use
Oh,
at any
hey.
point for brilliant role play.
All right, let's try it. Nope, that's worse.
No, but that's okay. But you still
It's
succeeded,
okay.
correct?
A moderate success. Yeah.
Okay, you still succeeded.
Yeah.
So you're able to begin speaking with people. And right now, rules as written is what you're saying makes sense. You can see a woman uncomfortably pulling her shoulders together and like scratching at her belly button. You can see, another gentleman who pulls off of his mask and he's sweating, but he's also like shivering because he's so cold. And you realize and you recognize that they're not spreading it further, but what you're saying does make sense.
Okay. Yeah, it's better
What
than
you're
nothing.
saying does make sense. And you turn to speak to another gentleman, and you turn and you're face to face with Sir Mark Fenton. And he just reaches out very gently and touches you right here on the forehead, and you wake up on the floor of the same room. It is cold. It is dark. Moonlight is bathing in. As you're looking up, they're skittering and scampering and black blood falling from somewhere in the ceiling. And with one wing right on top of you and a tail going up underneath your pantaloons, working up your calf, around the back of your knee and coming up your thigh, crossing over your groin area and going right to that sweet spot where it's going to start slurping in a beautiful circle of let's put you back into the matrix. You recognize one of those creatures is right beside you. And I need a sand check from you, please.
Oh, please. 33.
Oh, look at you.
Improbably. 33 against the sand 50.
It is a loss of 2. And that's when somewhere behind you, you can hear the Reverend screaming. And what is your involuntary reaction?
Yeah, and he completely just freaks out. He's just hell and death, and he's trying to like scrabbling at himself and just like an animal in a cage, just losing it, just without thought or plan.
Okay. The 3 of you, I can now pull you guys all back into real time where you are. You're all together. You've got 30 of these creatures in the room moving about. There's some in the rafters, but it looks like they have this very calculated circuit of jumping from person to person to person, tickling them. And this tickling seems to be sending them back into the ball. You do not see Mark Fenton, but Sir Roger Gallows, the 4 or 5 people that you were able to start speaking to, you see that they come out of their trance and are starting to wake up on this side. Now that you guys are all back together again.
Right.
So we don't see the Mark Fenton figure up here.
You do not. He is not on this floor from what you can tell. There is a staircase that leads up.
That's true. But Raging Reverend has called all of these other creatures over to him. So I feel like I think I'm also raging at this point. I think there's a little bloodlust happening now that I know what's going on. I'm going to try to find the nearest one of these things. I'm going to jump onto it, and I'm going to try and just stab the fuck out of it.
Okay, with your little impromptu weapon?
Yeah.
Okay. This feels like initiative to me then.
It does.
It does feel like initiative to me, which if I were smart, I think when I was prepping this game last night, I did roll out your initiative orders. I did. So initiative order right now is Sir Samuel Creighton on a 60, Sir Roger Dallows on a 50, Reverend Gower on a 40, and my Night Gaunts have a dex of, those are the ones I didn't put in. They have a dex of 65 right now. But as of right now, they're waiting on something. They're idling. So, Samuel Creighton.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find the first one and just jump onto it and try to keep it from going on to anybody else. Basically, just I want to try to hurt it.
Okay. There is one that currently has a young adult. She's maybe 20, 21, 22.
Oh, for sure, that's my target. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Always and forever.
Yeah.
It currently has her straddled. Her back is arched. And it almost looks like she is afraid to breathe with this thing just spinning around her belly button, working its way up and down.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to wrap myself around it super tight, just bear hug it, and just try to stab it in as many places as possible. That was
Okay.
a really graphic hand motion. Sorry.
It was amazing for this game right now too. It's so good. Go ahead and roll me that beautiful bean footage, baby.
I
This will
don't.
be your fighting brawl, I believe.
Yep. Do. Oh boy, that'll be great.
You're okay. I'm fighting back, so it'll be. God damn it. Oh, sorry. You guys want me roll? I'll keep my 97 on physical dice, and I'll roll on the bot with everyone else here next time. Sorry.
Nope, that is a failure.
Okay. All right. This thing failed its fight back as well, so no damage done to either combatant. You jump up on this thing, and Bucho, I don't know if you've ever touched a whale before. I haven't, and
I
I'm
have
sure
not.
your character has never touched a whale before either. But we're gonna say it feels something like what we're imagining in our heads, which makes that whole "let me stick my barb in your belly button" even worse, because the texture of its skin is just as uncomfortable as that barb. But you slide off of this thing as it dismounts from this young lady, uses its bat wings to bring itself to its full bipedal stance, and your eyes are following as this thing rises about 7 feet in the air as it looks down to you with this black faceless gaze.
Cool.
Don't worry, everyone is going to live through this, I promise.
Oh yeah, that's how this is clearly going.
Sir Roger Dallows.
Yep. So he's torn between wanting to free the people that have awoken and wanting to pursue the master. And I think he eventually decides that that's the more effective route. And so he yells out to the fellows. He says, "They have a master. Do you see him?"
No, he might be upstairs.
Oh Christ! And he looks around for a weapon, a pistol or something.
You know what? Roll me a luck check.
Yes. All right, let's do it.
All those big spins.
Hell yeah, 38 on a 4. That's a success in
Yes!
some universe.
Don't one of these gentlemen have a pistol on them? Not that you're seeing.
Yeah,
There's
well,
plenty of unextravagant flatware that you can weaponize.
yeah, he's gonna grab not even a particularly sharp steak knife, just maybe like an aggressive butter knife.
Yeah,
Aggressive butter knife.
that's how you make an aggressive move in a noodly appendage, man.
Aggressive butter
Yeah,
knife.
and before
That's
he can talk
amazing.
himself out of it, he pounds up the stairs.
Oh, okay. Before you can talk yourself out of it, you are beelining here up the stairs.
Sorry to break up the group again, but
No, I love it.
No.
So, Robert Gallows, this is a very uncomfortable walk because you haven't moved in over a week. You've been on this floor for over a week.
yeah.
So it's a waddle, it's a stagger. You collapse multiple times. If I had more time, I would do additional rolls. But with 20 minutes left, I'm going to go ahead and get you up those stairs. It just takes you a second.
And I'm bruised.
And you're
unhappy.
bruised. Yeah. And you've
Yeah.
pissed off a lot of creatures in this room.
Yeah, and I'm looking around, if you want to stick with me, if you want to go to somebody else, but I'm looking around for anybody who looks like they're not being fed on.
Okay. You get up to the top of the stairs, and you're the only person up here, and you do have to pass by the Reverend, who we're going to get to next here in initiative,
Okay.
but you're able to pass by him, and there's a long hallway, and there's a door that is currently open directly to your right. Moonlight again is bathing in, and you can hear the rick, rack, rick, rack of something that sounds like it's rocking.
No, don't do that.
And you recognize this sound because you used to push your sister Claudia in one of
No.
these quite a
Damn it,
bit. It's
Bridget.
one of those rocking wooden, bassinets, and you can hear the rick,
Yeah.
rack, rick, rack.
And it takes him a bit of time to get over the threshold of that room. Because, first and foremost in his mind is, that the baby is a lie. But then right behind that is his regret with Claudia. And right behind that is shame for how long it took him to understand and believe Miss Fenton. And he just doesn't want to do this.
Yeah.
So he just kind of, he doesn't even feel his body. He just feels like he's drifting
Okay.
into the room.
And you drift into the room, and there are two things that you see. And then I'm going to hop over to the Reverend. One, there is a rocking chair that is moving back and forth. There is a woman that is seated in the rocking chair. She has her ankles crossed. There's a large black blanket that's been folded over her lap. And she is wearing a Moretta mask, which is currently up on Twitch. And apologies, I'm not CCing things to whatever. What it is what you're looking at right now is it is a completely black mask that doesn't have a hole for the nose or the mouth. It just has these really big, wide eye sockets, holes there. And you're familiar with this mask. It was very popular in Venice. And by the way,
because of the smallpox.
Because of smallpox. And a much worse, I would almost argue, reason. But you guys can thank Chris Bates for this one. This is coming straight off of the Symphony backers. This Venetian mask that you know, of course, especially with your travel time, is called the Moretta mask, meaning the dark one, or the Servetta Muta, which is meaning mute, a servant woman. And you know these masks are small, strapless, black velvet oval things that sit on a woman's face. And there's no strap, so it requires the woman to actually bite down on a button on the inside. It's literally muting a woman so that she is unable to speak, hence the muta. These were a huge success in Venice, and the Moretta masks were considered to be highly erotic because it didn't show a woman's face. You couldn't be distracted by her facial features. You had to be hyper-focused on everything in her body. And there is a woman wearing one of those black masks that is rocking back and forth. And then directly next to it is that massive bassinet. And that cradle is rocking. There's one of these creatures that is straddling over it with his tail on the inside of the bassinet going in a circle. And the closer you look, the woman that is rocking back and forth in the mask, there's a creature underneath the rocking chair that is like hanging on to the back and the bottom of the rocking chair. And all you can see is a tail wrapping around her throat, going down the front of her dress. And you can see, something moving in and out. I need a sand check from you. And then we're going to go over to the Reverend.
And that is a fail, 57 on a 48.
Oh, good for you. I am just going to go ahead and eat you with a flat out D6 on this one because this is bringing back your sister memory. I only have 15 minutes to go. And this is very, very unsettling. And damn it. Holy shit. Good for us. I just hit a 6.
That's fantastic.
I'm super excited for you.
That's fantastic. That's a big hit.
That's a big hit. Can I go ahead and get your intelligence check, please?
Sure.
Let's see if you process, if you understand what's happening.
Oh, that's not good. That's a 9. I am too smart for my own good.
You completely understand. So I am using the Call of Cthulhu deck here.
I love it.
We'll see what's happening right here. I'm going to go randomly. And what we picked out was... I can't pronounce it, but I'm looking at agathomania. Here, let me help that for you. You suffer from pathological kindness. This mania exhibits as needing to perform acts of kindness, whether for a friend, stranger, or even an enemy. So I'm going to let you interpret that however you want, because that's probably going to be your sunset scene, because you're going to die in this room, probably tending to that goddamn baby.
That sounds like I'm going to be rocking that bassinet, baby.
Oh, okay.
Oof.
Reverend?
Yes?
You awake on the stairs. You are screaming. The barrister has just run by you. Sir Samuel Crichton is fighting one of these creatures on the floor, and you have still 30 of them looking at you curiously, and you have their complete and utter attention.
They're gathered for a sermon, clearly.
Clearly! That makes sense. And you're on an elevated position right now, too. You're on the stairs looking down at everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am just kind of like filled with nausea and rage and grief and just every sort of churning passion that that can come out of the deepest, darkest recesses of my soul. right now I'm not even really feeling fear of them, just sort of repulsion and
Ooh.
and and I'm not sure what to do except just sort of like are they doing anything other than just staring at me?
No, they're staring at you, but there's a curiosity to this stare. You're getting a lot of head tilts. You're getting head tilts from the ground. Some of the ones that are tickling people on the ground do look up and give you head tilts. There are a couple that are hanging from the rafters that actually kind of silently swing to hang upside down where they're facing you. And the same thing,
Uh-huh.
they're just giving you very curious head tilts. And it's not that you recognize this particular behavior, but you are traveled enough to know that they are either waiting for something, they're waiting for a command, they're waiting for a release. They're not entirely operating from their own sense of agency.
Okay. Um, I am going to try to take command of them.
Okay.
Because at this moment I am just kind of like intoxicated on my own passions. And
Oh God.
I am just going to cry out, foul foul things, leave this place, leave me. You're nothing but servants. You're nothing but the foulest thing that crawls on the earth. Leave on your bellies.
Leave on your bellies. Oh my God, Chris. Okay, Chris, you've got one or two options here. And you can fluff this up, flare this out however you like. You spent time in that library and you saw that the master of this house was something wrapped up in Catholicism. I can give you a roll on your religion to compel these creatures, or if you would like, I can also rock with your persuade, dealer's choice.
I've got more in the religion.
Okay.
And given how I've been rolling, I think I better take the safe choice here.
Okay.
So let's rock and roll. I am now speaking more like a Catholic priest than an Anglican anyway.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we all know the whole thing about cake and death, about cake or death. I mean, so I've somehow slipped into papist mode.
Okay. Slide to the papacy.
24.
That's a hard success for you, right?
Yep.
That has to be, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. FYI, Regency Cthulhu fans, religion is also a new skill that they have rolled out, and guess what it covers? Religions. Reverend,
Exorcism.
give me narrative of how they respond to you. I've got 11 minutes to go. None of you are going to survive this encounter. So I will give you comfortable narrative on how you want this to happen right now.
Well, I succeeded, right?
So what a hard success. If you want them to
so,
leave on their bellies, you've got narrative.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that they were, finally waiting for someone to give them a command. So they sort of stand there for a moment, and are a little bit bewildered by how forceful this command is from basically lunch.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your bologna sandwich starting to yell at you. So that's
amazing.
So the ones that are still feeding sort of slowly uncoil their tails.
They're ticklers.
And begin to leave, to go to whatever hell spawned them.
Okay.
You know, the moonlight is still shining down on all these bodies. Maybe some of them are starting to wake up.
Slowly,
While
but
while
surely.
while these black whale-like things wander off and become part of the shadows.
One by one, they begin to peel off of their victims, of those that they have tickled, of those that they are tickling. The ones in the rafters just very slowly begin to pull themselves down and out. And as you perfectly described, they merge and disappear into the shadows. Mr. Samuel Crichton, you were fighting one of these creatures that kind of stopped mid-combat and was looking up the stairs at the Reverend. And it stopped and it looks to you and it looks back at the Reverend, and just with a gush, it just rises to the rafters and then disappears.
Damn. Okay. I'm guessing all of them are still, they've all left the floor now. They're all up in the rafters.
Up in the rafters, or they've left entirely. They pulled themselves out
Okay.
of windows, through doors. Some are upstairs.
Well, I'm going to run upstairs and I'm going to grab the Reverend with me, because now that I'm not raging, I understand what Mr. Gallows said, the barrister. And so now I can go and find him and hopefully realize that like all of these things have now stopped and they're like waiting for an order, or they've just left. So I would try to go find the main one, so to speak. Try to see where the barrister's at, see if he's in good shape or not.
So, barrister, when they compounding up the stairs and they hit that landing and they look to the right, what do they see? What are you doing right now?
He is absolutely blissed out. He is holding this bundle of something, and he looks at them with this utter peace and contentment, and he says, "It's all right. She's perfectly all right. See, the baby's perfectly all right."
And we're going to end game there. Yep.
Wait, we're not dead?
Oh, we're dead.
Oh, you're dead.
We're hella dead.
As soon as Daddy comes back from whatever it is he's doing, don't worry. His kids are going to go back to eating. Wow. Okay. So that, oh my God, Evan. And that, friends of the Symphony, is where our show ends for tonight. Whoo! Thank you, everyone who joined in or is currently watching the replay. You guys are indeed the best part of waking up, and we sincerely appreciate you. If you'd like to hang out with us, please feel free to join Symphony's Discord. If there's not a link going in the bots, were my bots even going? I don't remember seeing my bots go. Somehow I didn't have my bots going.
I don't think they were.
I don't think they were going either. Ugh, struggle. You can find the Discord link at symphonyentertainment.com. It's not a Symphony stream unless Bridgett broke something, and apparently I didn't have my bots going. Good times.
The day we remember everything 100%, just
I don't even want
quit.
to do it anymore.
It's no longer worth
doing. Shut it down.
Just
call
shut
it good.
And try something else.
That's it.
We do have a Patreon. Tiers are fleshed out with everything from postcards, art, limited edition content, cool stuff that I bring back from conventions. You can back us at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. If you are looking for more Regency Cthulhu, I did write a limited series for the Old Ways podcast called Echoes in the Mist. The first 2 episodes are already available, and the third is going to land on December 26th. So you can check those out at theoldwayspodcast.com. And guys, no joke, this is not me bullshitting. The episode, because Mike was awesome enough to let us get an advanced copy of it. The episode that lands on the 26th is by far probably one of the most crisp games I have ever run in my life. The table completely outperformed anything that I wrote, and it was devastating across the board. My nervous system was in the red for 2 hours straight during that recording, and it took me probably the better half of a day to come down. This next episode that lands on the 26th is a banger.
That's a good
brace
game
yourself.
right there.
Holy shit, it's a banger.
That's
So
what you
yeah.
want for your Boxing Days, really.
Ooh, honey, enjoy. Brace yourself. And I'm not sorry. So before we empty out the auditorium, I'm going to end on time. Let's go around one more time and say goodnight to our symphonic cast. Starting with Bucho, give us your name, where people can find you, and what you do.
My name is Bucho. I'm currently not on social media at the moment, but you can find me on Instagram at The Real Pink Manther when I am doing stuff. You can also find me on Facebook as Bucho Rodenberger. I had a business account or a artist account. It's not updated. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Beautiful. Chris?
You're muted, Chris.
Oh, yeah, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I am Chris Hall. I'm broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I'm all about lightsaber choreography, science fiction, fantasy, and anti-fascism. Okay.
And all about that baby. Evan, close us out, baby.
I'm Evan Perlman. You can find me on Facebook. I'll tell you what, on Facebook, find me on the Miskatonic Repository Creator Circle, where I'm pretty active. That's also where I generally recruit for the group projects. Or find me on the Symphony Discord, or find me on the MUP Discord, or stand at a crossroads at midnight and whisper my name 3 times into the east wind. All of that very effective. And I look forward to meeting you.
You guys are so sexy. Guys, Chris wrote this signing off copy, and I love saying it every single time that I do. We hope that you have enjoyed the symphony, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Have a wonderful night. Mwah.